Wairea te rangi e tū nei, wairea te papa e takoto nei, wairea te ara tā whanga ka puta ki te whai au ki te ao marama. E tini mā io ki te rangi he mare a whā io ki te whenua. Tukua mai he mauri atua hei kura mariri, tukua mai he mauri tupuna hei kura mana waroa. Tau ai o mai ki runga ki a tātou e tū nei. Mā tāmua mai ko te hakaputanga, tau tini mai ko te tiriti o Waitangi. Puritia kia u, puritia kia mau, whano, hara mai te tōki.
Haumi e!
Ie!
Tai ki e!
Manawa nei e te hua ki rangi, manawa nei e te hua ki papa. O hau nuku te kokona whare kia kitea, o hau rangi te kokona nākau kia rongohia. Kau wai runga tia, kau wai raro tia, kia pū kawa tia te mane hurangi. O hine nākau, o tama nākau, he oranga tinana, he oranga wairua tau te mauri, tau hā, tau ana. Kei ngā ihi, kei ngā wehi, kei ngā tapu, kei ngā kuaka mārangaranga, e tau iho mai ki runga ki a tātou o Ngāti Whātua, mātou o Ngāti Whātua, tēnā koutou haere mai. Haere mai i runga i te karanga, te reo karanga o Whātua nuku, o Whātua rangi, haere mai i runga i ngā kupu karakia, i ngā kupu rongo mai piti. Haere mai i runga i a Waitemata, kupenga rau, herea mai o koutou waka, ki o kahumata momoi. I tōna wā, tū ai te whare tupuna, a te puru o tāmaki, e karanga atu nei kia koutou, haere mai. Haere mai i o koutou maunga, ko ngā maunga o tāmaki makaurau e hora nei, a maunga kie, a maunga whau, a tūpohi nei, te karanga atu nei kia koutou, haere mai. Haere mai i runga i te maharatanga, o rātou ko eke ki runga ki ngā rangi ki ngā whetū. A ko rātou ko haere ki tua o te arai, no reira, kia koutou e ngā mate huhua o te wā haere atu. Haere atu koutou, i runga i ngā waka, i runga i ngā rangi, haere. Ko tētahi mate, e pūmau tonu ana ki te kiri, tērā mamai, i roto i ngā marama, i roto i ngā wiki, kua pahure ake nei, ko te hoia ia, tēnā i pā tōna ihu, kia tūmatauinga i tōna wā, ko tā Bomb Gillies tēnā, no reira, tērā maunga a kahurānaki, e tangihi ana, mo te uri o kahungunu, me te uri, kuia hoki, te uri, o Ngāti Whakaue, no reira, kuia me te huhua o ngā mate i roto i tēnei tau kua pahure ake nei, te haere atu nei, ki te taha, o tūheitia, pōta tau te whero, te tuawhitu. No reira, katoa koutou e ngā mate haere atu rā. Hoi anō, ko tātou tēnei, e noho nei ki te toi o te ora, e hātonu nei, i te oranga nuitanga o te tangata. No reira, tēnā tātou katoa. Katoa wai ngā mihi, a Ngāti Whātua kia koutou. Koutou, kua haere katoa mai, ki te ahi wānanga, i tēnei mea, ko ngā whare, ko ngā kāinga. He raru tino nui, ki roto, mo te Māori ki roto i tōna ake whenua o Aotearoa nei. Nō reira, tēnā koutou i o koutou manawa popore, te haere mai nei, ki te ahi wānanga, ki te kōrero, ki te whai whakaro, e pēhia tātou e whakawhare, whakakainga, ai ko ngā iwi, ko kore kāinga, i roto i ngā tiriti. Tuatahi o tāmaki, puta noa i te motu o Aotearoa. Nō reira, koutou tēnā, kia kaha tō koutou mahi, hoi anō, ko ngā mihi anō hoki ki tēnei taha, tēnei taha kia koe e pāora, te kai whakahaere o tēnei wānanga, tēnā rawa atu koe, e noho nei, tū atu i a Ngāti Whātua, te whakahoki i ngā mihi, te whakahoki i ngā kōrero, e whai tikanga, a kui mā koroma, tēnā rawa atu koe, koutou katoa ki tēnā taha, tēnā rawa atu koutou. Hoi anō, tēnei noa te mihi whakatūwhera i te kaupapa. Te mihi wāhi i tēnei āhuatanga o te paipai. Nō reira ka tō ai anō, ko ngā mihi, ko ngā karanga, ko ngā karakia, ko ngā mihi kia koutou, kāti au, te whakatāroa i enei kōrero, engari, ko hau noa, te whakatūwhera i te kōrero, i te wānanga, kei a koutou tērā haipapa, e whai whakaro ai, e whai hua pai ai, mo enei momo āhuatanga, mo enei momo kaupapa, ko ngā kāinga tērā. Nō reira, ka poto te kakau o te paipa, engari kia rangatira ko koutou wānanga, tēnā koutou, kia ora tātou katoa. He aha te hai, kia tātou te hunga ora, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, kia rā tātou koutou.
A tēnā koe te whare. A tēnei te tū ki te tautokana i taku tuakana, tana whakamihi ki a koutou, te nau piki mai, nau kake mai, haere maira. Ka pakuru mai te reo Pākehā mo tētahi wahanga o tēnei kōrero. E hoa mā, if you've heard this kōrero before, I apologise. Poi anora, in 1951, the Auckland City Council came to our papakainga at Ōrākei Bay, and they burnt every house to the ground, claiming that we hadn't paid our rates, claiming that we owed money to the local superette, and claiming that we had not paid some bills, and they walked straight into our tupuna's house and set it on fire while him, his wife and his children were sitting at the breakfast table. Now that happened here in Auckland, 10 minutes down the road there, in 1951. Kei ware tātou. Let's not forget what consecutive governments have done to us as Māori, to frighten us to death, to remove us from New Zealand society, to eradicate us. Pērā i te mahi a hitara, e orite. And we weren't the only people that this happened to here in this country. The other indignity we had to suffer is that people who weren't housed on Kite Moana Street, otherwise affectionately known as Boot Hill, because we were, those of you around about my age, you remember the movie, the gunfight at the Ōrākei Corral. There's a cemetery in that movie called Boot Hill. So they booted us up the hill and just expected us to die. But as you can see, haere no mātou kia mate. Through the grace of God and the power of whakapuna, haere no mātou kia mate. Now the other people who couldn't be housed on Kite Moana Street in the 12 houses they built there originally for a whole hapu of Ngāti Whātua, they had to sign a waiver. And the waiver said for them to receive a state house that they could never speak about the burning down of their homes at Ōrākei Bay. And if they spoke out in public, they'd be kicked out of their state house. So our people were scattered around the whole of Auckland, east, south, west and north. And, you know, when Bastion Point came around, you can imagine the fear that was already instilled in our people some 70, 80 years previously, had never left them. They were reliant on the state for their very lives. Because if they could burn out a whole hapu of people in the largest city in this country, you know, our elders, they feared for their lives. Now, fast forward to our first treaty claim, 1990. Since then, nā tōku pāpā, Dr. Joseph Parata Hawke, NZM, we've built about 80 houses since that time, since 1990. So those are the mathematicians in the house, you'll know that's about 2.456633. We've built just about 2.5 houses every year since then. We've brought a whole lot of families back that were, you know, through the Te Mahi Kaikiri, through racism and greed, they were scattered all around the country, and we've brought them home. Now, we've been able to do that because we have sought the support of like-minded people, probably people like yourselves that are sitting in this room and know how important it is for a family to have a home, to have a tūranga waiwai, to be connected to the whenua, to be close, living close by to the marae and to our kaumātua and our kaukuia. And that is the way our tupuna lived in their time, and that's the way we are living now. Also, the other thing that's happened is that the reo has returned to our community. Kua Ōrākei anō te reo Māori I roto i a mata. And he ua tērā ko mātai whawhai mo te reo te taki. He mea anō, because we have chosen to stand up rather than die on our knees. We chose to stand up. We chose to take on the establishment under the odds were all against us. And I remember leaders at the time telling my father, Joe, mate, you're joking. You're joking. You're not going to get that land back. Never in 1,000 years. But it didn't take 1,000 years and we got it back. But we had to fight for it, tooth and nail. We had to put our bodies on the line. We had to be prepared to die for what we believed was rightfully ours. It was our right to live as Ngāti Whātua Ōrākei, to live on our own whenua, to live together, for better or for worse. And, you know, if you look at it through a housing lens, we are a success story. But, you know, we lost our baby on Bastion Point. Te rau kākai tapu, ko manu mea tērā. So we paid a price. A lot of our tupuna never saw the land being handed back. They never saw the fruits of their labour. But we, you know, we have a responsibility now to protect and to grow the assets that we have. There is still a lot of room for improvement within us. And there are other housing options that we haven't investigated. Hence, coming here to talk to you fellas today. Even though I'm not on the list. But hey, it's my whenua, so... So, we hope that your hui goes well. And, you know, my father was considered the public enemy #1 by the state. We had our phone bug. We were followed everywhere for years by those little grey police cars, if you remember those? Those fellas in those white helmets. They might have changed their uniform, but they're the same fellas. So we suffered a whole lot of indignities to ensure that our children and our grandchildren don't have to go through that shit. Now, you might be going through some shit where you are. You might be faced with some insurmountable, insurmountable. But we're here to say to you, kia kaha, kia maia, kia u. A favourite saying of my Lord Father, Joe, he had to break the law because the law was unjust. Whenever it came to anything Māori, they would create another law to make the unlawful practices that they were placing on us to make that legal. And that came out in the 1987 Ōrākei report by Te Tari Whakamana I Te Tiriti o Waitangi. And I just might add, ki te kōrero te kumara, that my Lord Father was the first claimant to the Te Tari Whakamana I Te Tiriti o Waitangi, the Waitangi Tribunal. So just a very short, because I haven't heard the bell ring yet, just a very short. We go, Dad, me, Mum, all of us will go out on the Waitemata to do some fishing. We come back, and this little official comes up to Dad and says, I'm going to count your catch. And Dad goes, no, you're not. He goes, no, I'm going to count your catch. And Dad goes, no, piss off. Under the Treaty of Waitangi, I am permitted to take these taonga from Pangaroa. That is my right as a Ngāti Whātua, as a Māori, under the Treaty of Waitangi. So they take Dad to court about 6 months later, and the judge says, Mr. Hall, have you got anything to add? And he says, yes, sir, I'd like to have my case heard by the Waitangi Tribunal. And the judge said, you'd like what, Mr. Hall? I'd like to have my case heard by the Waitangi Tribunal. He says, so we'll go into adjournment for 15 minutes. 2 hours later, he comes back and says, Mr. Hall, you have every right under the Treaty of Waitangi for your case to be heard by the Waitangi Tribunal, but unfortunately it hasn't been established yet. So you're free to go. And 6 months later, ko tū, that office, Te Tari Whakamana I Te Tiriti o Waitangi. So all you Māoris that have settled your Waitangi claim, Dad wants 10%. Koe anō, ko whakaru te kata e tipene, whakaru te kata, ko hono te ngākau ki te ngākau, mo tā tātou nei kaupapa kātū I roto I ngā rangi nei. Nā reira, ko tēnei ka mihi, ko tēnei ka tangi, tēnā rā tātou katoa.
Papaki mai,
Papaki mai,
ngā ngaru nunui,
Wāwaratia, ngā tairere, eriko e, ngā ngaru nunui te rehutai, hei tōreira.
Rātau I te wāhi ngaro ki a rātau, tātou ngā wehotanga mai, ngā mātua tupuna ki a tātou, tēnā rā tātou katoa, kahuri.
Kia ora. Kia ora. Ina mana, ina rau rangatira mā, tina koutou. He mi nui ki a kātou Ngāti Whātua Ōrākei, te mana whenua, te ahi kā e noho nei mātou I raro I tō koutou maru. Ka mihi kau ki te wānanga aro nui o Tāmaki Makaurau, nā koutou tēnei hui karanga ki konei i roto i tō whare. Tēnā koutou katoa, e tau nei ki tā tātou hui whakaharahara o te iwi nui puta noa Aotearoa. Ko koutou kua tai mai ki te kōrero tahi, ki te wānanga tahi, a kia mahi tahi, tātou hei tautoko hei āwhina i ngā tangata o tātou hapore. Nō reira, tēnā koutou katoa. For those who can, I'm going to ask you to stand and join me as we sing. Tu tera mai nā iwi, tātou e. Tu tera mai nā iwi, tātou e. Whai a te marangatanga, me te aroha i nā iwi. Kia patakatahi, kia patahira, tātou e. One more please. Tu tera mai nā iwi, tātou e. Tu tera mai nā iwi, tātou e. Whai a mararamatanga, me te aroha i nā iwi, kia patahatahi, kia patahira, tātou e. Tātou e. Me.
We're going to encourage you to share in the Māori breath of life with the person on your left or on your right, whichever one is more handsome or more pretty. And we're hoping that you've all had a shower and brushed your teeth. So we do this to remember the first human created in our culture, ko Hene Ahuane. Me aro atu ki tōna hā i ngā Whākatau, so that your tupuna may mingle with the tupuna sitting next to you as we exchange the breath of life with these many people here. Don't be shy.
Okay. Is it? Okay. Look, given we're here today, I wish to honour a great New Zealander. We're in a building named after Sir Paul Reeves, and he was a thoughtful and robust and astute person who lived a passionate life, inspired by a quest for the shared good and the common ground, and a deep and abiding sense of justice. I go and visit him quite regularly, and one of his daughters, they are buried not far from here with a view from the hill down over Rangitoto out at St John's Theological College. He was the son of a Wellington tram driver. He never forgot what it was like to be poor, and during his term as the Governor-General in the mid-1980s, Sir Paul became fearful about the market-driven reforms that were transforming New Zealand society at the time. After a year in office, he remarked to the New Zealand Herald reporter, "I happen not to believe in the trickle-down theory. I fear we are in the process of creating a stratified society," he said, earning himself a rebuke from the then Prime Minister David Lange. He was unrepentant, however, adding 2 years later, "The spirit of the market steals life from the vulnerable." And yet here we are again. we are challenged. We talked this morning, in fact, about the challenges we're all facing and the increasing need that we have, and we'll continue to challenge each other, I hope, during the course of this conference, to do what we can without the government. The story that is being sold in Wellington all over the place at the moment is that there's no money, but let's remember that is a choice that is being made. It is not necessarily the truth. So the spirit and purpose of those who have gone before us is with us here today, cutting pathways and seeking us to help us navigate to a better place where all our people are housed and homed. And so later this morning I will reaffirm with the minister when he's here making his announcements that we support the sorry, I'm struggling to find a thing that we support at the moment with this government. Anyway, let's talk about whanaungatanga because that's actually the purpose of this hui. It really is. The theme is growing together. It's a metaphor for I know that we all want to do more for our whānau. Whātua Ōrākei have just got on with doing it, and we heard about that this morning. And so many of you in your different contexts are doing such tremendous work. So the concept of growing together is about you all being together, deepening your relationships, your trust, your partnerships, your collaborative capacity, because that's what's going to see us through. And so that's one part of the growing together, and the other is about our overarching desire to do more in service of our people. With that, I will do a little bit of housekeeping, I'm afraid, because I need to do some little health and safety stuff, and then we're going to have a shared morning tea and some kai out there together. So just in case there's something goes wrong, follow the instructions of the staff here, please. Leave the building. There's exits at both ends. We're spread across 6 different rooms for the rest of the day. And so there has been a last-minute room change, which is in my papers here somewhere. And I'm just going to tell you in case you get lost, because the rooms that have numbers with 4s and 6s and things, you need to take lifts. You can't use the stairs. Sorry, I've lost it. It's in your app. Thanks, Chris. That's why I've got such an awesome Deputy Chief Executive here. Thank you for coming. Thank you for the beautiful welcome. We really now, we've set the space, created the vā for you to step into. This is your conference. It's all about the quality of the conversations that you're having. At the conference in Christchurch last year, you said, we did this beautiful exercise. We got people to pick their number, which was the number of years they had of actual relevant work experience in this field. And we got them to stand up, and then when we counted, we had 5,600 years of work experience in the housing sector in the room. And so last conference, you'll remember I challenged you to stop looking outside of this room for the solutions, because you've got them here. They are here, they're in you, they're in your teams, they're in the work that you do. So use this time well to step up to that challenge, because it is significant. We recognise the growing need, but our whānau need the support more than ever before. We're seeing the growing need in our communities across the country as the sinking lid of transitional and emergency housing continues to put pressure. People are spilling into all sorts of places, and they need our help, and really that needs to be the focus of this hui, is how can we do more with less, because that is the situation that we're in, and complaining about it I don't think is going to make much difference. So let's just get on with the mahi. Welcome to your conference, Community Housing Aotearoa 2024, and please come and join us for a cup of tea and a kai outside. Thank you.